There comes a day when the pain of staying the same becomes heavier than the fear of changing. And that day, Mara finally walked away. Mara was the kind of person who gave everything she had, even when it wasn't returned. She believed loyalty was a gift, a sacred bond that should never be broken. For years she stayed when friends disappeared, she stayed when love grew cold, she stayed when people took her kindness for weakness. She was the shoulder to cry on, the late-night call, the person who forgave again and again. But with every act of giving, a little piece of her chipped away. She carried burdens that weren't hers to carry, and slowly, she began to lose herself. Her phone buzzed endlessly, messages from people who wanted her help, her time, her heart, but rarely, if ever, offered the same in return. She cancelled plans, put her dreams on hold, and swallowed her pain, so others wouldn't feel alone. Sometimes, late at night, she looked in the mirror and barely recognized the tired eyes staring back. The woman she once was felt like a stranger. One evening, after a particularly long day of giving, Mara's heart broke in a way it never had before. She reached out, finally. Not with pride or anger, but with desperation. "Can you help me?" she whispered into her phone, voice trembling. But what came back was silence. Then, when someone finally answered, the words cut deeper than she expected. "I'm busy. You're overreacting. You'll be fine." Each excuse was a reminder of how alone she really was. In that moment, Mara felt the weight of every unanswered call, every ignored message, every sacrifice that went unnoticed. Her kindness had been met with indifference. Something inside her cracked, not the kindness itself, but the part of her that tolerated being invisible. For the first time, she saw clearly how long she had been taken for granted. That night, Mara made a choice. Not a loud, angry choice, but a quiet, powerful one. She packed up the pieces of her heart that had been broken too many times. She deleted conversations that kept her trapped in the past. She closed doors that had been open for too long. She didn't yell or explain. She simply walked away. Because sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is let go. And for the first time in years, Mara breathed deeply. Not out of fear or obligation, but out of freedom. Walking away was hard. It was painful. It shook Mara to her core. But she knew that staying meant slowly losing herself. No one talks about this part. The loneliness. The ache. The uncertainty. Healing is not a straight path. Sometimes, it means breaking down before you can build up. Sometimes, strength means standing alone when everything inside you screams to give up. Mara cried. She grieved the loss of what she thought she deserved. But she also discovered a fierce fire inside. A fire to be whole again, to be free. Slowly, Mara began to rebuild. She learned to say no without guilt. She set boundaries that protected her heart. She filled her days with things that nourished her soul. Journaling, quiet mornings, books that inspired. She stopped apologizing for choosing herself. And something incredible happened. The girl who once begged for love became a woman who demanded respect. The woman who was ignored became impossible to overlook. New opportunities came. New friendships blossomed. New doors opened. And Mara smiled. Not because life was perfect, but because she finally knew her worth. Sometimes, life lets people walk over you just long enough to show you your true value. The day you choose yourself is the day your real life begins. Walk away from what breaks you. Walk toward who you were born to be. If Mara's story moved you, subscribe and share this message. Someone out there needs the courage to walk away today. Sometimes, the hardest battles we fight are the ones within ourselves. The fight to say no when everyone expects a yes. The fight to walk away when everyone expects us to stay. The fight to believe in ourselves when the world has stopped believing. Mara's story is not just about walking away from others. It's about walking toward herself. Toward her worth. Toward the peace she always deserved but was too afraid to claim. And maybe that's the greatest lesson of all. You don't need anyone's permission to choose you. You don't need anyone's approval to protect your heart. You don't owe anyone your energy, especially when it drains you. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. It's the quiet revolution that changes everything. Because the day you put yourself first, that is the day your real journey begins. That is the day you discover your true strength. That is the day you finally become whole. So if you're watching this and feel tired of carrying everyone else's weight, If you're feeling invisible or taken for granted, hear this. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to choose peace. And when you do, the universe will meet you there. With new beginnings, new light, and new love. Starting with the love you give yourself. Your story is not over. It's just beginning. For more motivation to keep rising, subscribe so you don't miss more motivation like